This is why one of the very few animals that actually scares me is a chimpanzee. Welcome back to my 2 cents, everyone. We're back in my college setup, for better or for worse. And today I'm going to be giving you my 2 cents on Primate, a new animal attack movie that features a chimpanzee as the killer. Now, a couple of fun facts about me before we get straight into it. First of all, I'm actually a big fan of the animal attack movie subgenre, if that's what you want to call it. I know the majority of them are bad, but as you've come to know, I really like movies that are so bad that they're good, most of the time. I might even review some more animal attack movies in the future. Second of all, I absolutely love animals. All types of animals. So when I watch an animal attack movie, I go in trying to quiz the movie a little bit on how accurate they make the animal in the movie to the real life one. Of course, most of the information is very inaccurate, but my favorite kind of animal attack movies are the ones that actually do their research and apply it to the movie. And if they make the animal attack style accurate. Is Primate one of the best animal attack movies I've seen in a long time? Starting off with the characters, as always, we have Lucy as our main protagonist and final girl. She is going home to her sister and her dad in Hawaii after not being there in so many years, with her best friend and her best friend's friend. Her sister Erin is kind of upset with Lucy because she has been away from home for so long, which I get you were lonely, Erin, but that doesn't mean you get to get mad at Lucy for actually going to college and wanting to do something more. For lack of a better explanation, Lucy is the definition of what a final girl is. She is the nice girl who, even though she does want a piece of Drew, isn't trying to fuck anyone. She's the one that fights back the hardest. And in the first half of the movie, of course, she is scared of Ben and then eventually builds up the courage and her bravery to fight back against Ben around the third act. She's just a nice and easy to follow character, which isn't a bad thing. It's just that we have seen so many different final girls like her over the course of the past few decades. Then, as I mentioned before, we have Erin, who is Lucy's sister, who stayed in Hawaii to help out with her dad, and their chimpanzee Ben, of course. She is Ben's best friend slash handler, and I guess she's upset with Lucy because she left her behind to take care of their dad and Ben, which, like I said, is kind of stupid logic. Anyways, besides having some stupid grudge against her sister most of the movie, she's alright. It's just that after the first act, she gets introduced, and we get some wholesome moments between her, Lucy, and her dad, and then she doesn't get to do much until the third act. So to me, she's just another basic side character that's just there. Also, her dad is a deaf author that is named Adam, who is Ben's original owner. And while he is my favorite human character of this movie, he also doesn't get a lot to do until the third act. He says hi to Lucy, has a few wholesome moments between her and Erin and Ben, and then he has to leave because they want to turn his novel into a movie. But I do like the few scenes that we do get with Adam. His scenes with Lucy and Erin are nice, and he does get a pretty awesome scene towards the end of the movie. Now I just want to talk about one more big side character before we get into the big ape himself, because Drew is alright, but kinda dumb. Kate is a good friend to Lucy, and they have some good scenes together, but that's really all I have to say about her, and the guys that the girls meet on the plane are the guys the girls met on the plane. But Hannah is such a bitch. I don't know why or how Kate became friends with this girl. She is just a slut who always has this very loud and obnoxious attitude, and she will either immediately respond to a situation with the most over-the-top solution, or she just wouldn't take responsibility for her actions. I know most horror movies have a character like this that is just so insufferable for a reason. Characters like Hannah are the ones you reserve for the best kill of the movie, to make the audience anxious to see how this character finally gets killed. Which, by the way, she doesn't get the best kill in this movie, which kind of annoys me a little bit. I guess to be fair to Hannah, she's not the most insufferable character I've ever seen in a horror movie. She does have a couple of cool moments that give her character some kind of purpose, but from the moment she was introduced on the plane at the very beginning, I thought this was going to turn into another No Way Up situation. What I mean by that is, quick little story time. About a couple years ago, a movie called No Way Up came out. I bought the DVD because at the time I was watching a lot of animal attack movies and I didn't hear anything about this, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting enough. It's a modern shark movie that takes place after a plane crash. And now it is the only movie that I have intentionally not finished, because about 15 minutes in, I already hated the characters and just knew everything that was going to happen in this movie from the first 15 minutes, and the crash hadn't even happened yet. Thankfully, that is not what happened with Primate, but Hannah reminded me of how those characters were from that movie, and I got a little scared at the start. Maybe I'll go back and finish No Way Up someday, but I'm really not looking forward to when that day comes. Now let's talk about Ben, the killer chimp himself. As previously stated, Ben is Lucy, Adam, and Aaron's family pet. He is very intelligent, even for his species, and is usually very friendly and outgoing, but one night Ben got bit by a mongoose that I guess was carrying rabies, and becomes, well, rabid. Now, I know that rabies completely alters an animal's personality, but Ben becomes such a sadistic motherfucker when he's rabid, to the point where he almost acts human. Is it a little unrealistic? Sure. But with movies like this, you do have to stretch the believability at least a little bit to make it more entertaining. And in this case, stretching the believability a little bit was for the better. I absolutely love Ben as the antagonist because, unlike most animal attack movies, Ben is actually closer to the same level of intelligence as the protagonist, which to me makes him all the more terrifying because he knows exactly what he is doing even while he is rabid. Not to mention the fact that I had to look up after the movie to see if they actually used a real chimp to portray Ben, and it turns out they just used a mixture of practical suits, puppets, and animatronics. That is so impressive to me that they were able to bring Ben to life and make him look and act like a real chimp with these practical effects, and without having to use a real chimp. Overall, the characters work for a movie like this. You'll forget their names a day after watching this movie, but that's kind of what the movie is going for. You're here to watch Ben terrorize his family for 90 minutes, not to care about the human characters. Also, Hannah can go fuck herself. Now, the story of Primate goes that Lucy comes home to her sister and father in Hawaii after many years away in college with her friends. Her sister Erin is pissed that she went to pursue her dreams, so she spends a good amount of the movie trying to better her relationship with her. Also, after saying hi to her father, he has to leave so that he can try to turn his novel into a movie. She has a nice family reunion with her family chimp Ben, who is super happy to see her again. Then when the night comes and everyone is just partying, Ben got infected with rabies by a mongoose. Yes, the movie acknowledges how rabies-free Hawaii is, but let's be honest, who cares? Ben then escapes his enclosure after killing his veterinarian, and chaos ensues. It's a pretty stereotypical story, but what I love about it is that this movie knows exactly what it is. It knows that you are here to see Ben fuck people up, and they absolutely deliver on that. They aren't trying to reinvent the wheel or anything when it comes to slashers or animal attack movies. I do like that added element of making Lucy's dad deaf, because it makes for some nice tension whenever he does realize that something has gone wrong. Now, going back to the beginning of the video where I mentioned one of the very few animals I'm actually afraid of is chimpanzees, and how accurate everything Ben does in this movie is to a real chimp. The reason Ben, to me, is one of the most terrifying antagonists in an animal attack movie is because due to real life chimp attacks, we know how brutal their attacks are on humans. Let me introduce to you a chimp named Travis. A lot of you have probably heard of Travis before, and if you don't remember why, well, I'm gonna tell you. Travis was Sandra Harold's pet for a number of years. He was loved by the people in his community, but after the passing of Sandra's husband, Travis became very depressed. Also, Sandra was letting him drink wine and coffee and just ingesting things that a chimp should never ingest, like Xanax. Then one day he snapped and horribly disfigured Sandra's friend by tearing away at her face and arms. I would not recommend that you go look up those pictures. Those things will fuck you up. Anyways, yes, this story isn't very original, but it doesn't have to be. And honestly, I think it's the best story we could get for a movie like Primate. Now, this movie has some very good and practical kills, so it was hard to pick which one was my favorite for the Blood Money segment, but I'm gonna give the Blood Money award to the white guy the girls met on the plane.
Who the hell has a pet chimp?
Quick spoiler warning because I want to talk about this kill more in depth. This kill looks absolutely amazing, and the sadistic way that Ben just rips his jaw off and makes him watch as he chews on it and tries to put it back where it was while he slowly dies is both terrifying and awesome. Not to mention the way they build tension and drawing out the kill by having Ben slowly and slowly get closer until he just goes for it. Because you know the kill is coming. It really builds up that tension and anticipation until he finally get the payoff. That is how you do an effective kill. Even that first kill with the veterinarian had that same build up and payoff, when Ben, in typical chimp fashion, rips the veterinarian's face off. I will say that while it would have been disgusting, I was kind of expecting a kill where Ben rips somebody's dick and balls off, because chimps have been known to do that too. But I'm also glad they didn't, because ripping nuts off is more something that Art the Clown would do, and I think we should just leave that task to him. Overall, Primate is an amazing animal attack movie that really stands out from all the trashy animal attack movies that you usually see. It's short, simple, and straightforward, with some outstanding gore and practical effects. So if you are a horror fan or just a fan of animal attack movies in general, then I would say that Primate is definitely worth a ticket. And that's my review of Primate. Thank you guys so much for watching my review. One thing I want to mention before I wrap up the video, and as an animal lover, is that chimps should not be pets in the first place, and you can't blame an animal for doing what just comes naturally to them.
Talk about the tiger went crazy. That tiger ain't go crazy. That tiger went tiger.
So while I am still very scared of chimps, I don't hate them. I love all animals. I will just do my best to not interact with a full-grown adult chimp. Whenever I talk about an animal attack movie, I always feel the need to clarify that either in real life animals would not do this, or to just respect an animal's space so they don't do this to you. Just so people don't take this movie the wrong way and start thinking that we need to just kill all chimps. If Jaws can make people think that sharks are evil, then any animal attack movie out there can probably do the same. Anyways, my next review will more than likely be Iron Lung, which I am super hyped for. I can't wait. In between now and then, I'm going to be finishing up some scripts I have for some long awaited reviews, so I can hopefully get those out to you guys soon. Anyways, be sure to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss my future reviews. And as always, down in the comments below, give me your 2 cents on Primate, and I will see you guys very soon.